The great Tony Fay PR agency gets us all of the guests, and this may be the best baseball one to have, especially with spring training, and we're getting ready to try to defend the World Series title. The great Kevin Millar on the D&M Leasing Hotline back with us on 105.3 The Fan. And what was your Kevin Millar Bassett connection?
So we mentioned we were going to have Kevin Millar on, and Bassett told us, he's like, he got me. And we're like, oh, he hit a home run off you? He's like, yeah, he hit a home run off of me. What he failed to mention was Kevin Millar actually hit 2 home runs off of Mike in the same game. July 15th, 2002, Kevin Millar takes him deep twice. Also, given how big Bassett's ego is, I'm surprised he didn't mention that even though he gave up those 2 home runs, it was a complete game victory, 8-3 for the Mets over the Marlins.
Kevin, do you remember that?
No, I don't remember that, boy. I'm usually a 6'3" or a 5'3", or maybe a fly out to left with no power to right. That was surprising.
Here's what I think about when it comes to you when watching you on TV, MLB Network. Choppy, you might be able to help me convey this. He just looks like he's got life figured out. He's wearing the Lou Piniella shirts. He looks like it's just a cool breeze going through his hair. He's always driving to a golf course. He looks like he smells
Baseball
good.
versions of Jimmy Buffett.
Is that fair, Kevin? Is that your lifestyle?
Hey, it's a fair assessment. Now, raising 4 kids, that might be a facade. Because, you know, you got 7th grade. We have a junior in high school, and then we got 2 seniors, boy-girl twins. And let me tell you, it sometimes turns into a racket, but the golf course is my peace. Yeah. And I always joke around like parenting's overrated sometimes. You just need – mom and dad need a break. Yeah. But life's fun. Life's good. You know what? You live every day. You got to get – especially when you get 52 and you're on this side of the stage, it's just you got to have fun at some point.
Now that they're older, do you miss the youth sports 8 a.m. games and all that stuff?
Nope. Nope. But one thing I love now, which is kind of cool, and today actually we start, you know, we got a tournament. It's, 2 games a day, 2 games tomorrow, and Saturday we got 1. But high school baseball is a lot of fun because now we fed the team last night. You had the whole high school team over last night. You know, they come over once a week to every, parent's house. But sitting there with the boys and them being able to absorb some of the stuff. And the only thing that I kind of stress these kids, Mike, is have fun. This is the greatest days of your life. You haven't paid property taxes. You're not worrying about phone bills. Have fun. Be a good teammate. Play the game hard. Respect 90 feet. And swing hard and hitters counts. Because we chase results at this age, right? It's all about getting hit, or then we pout. Or strike out, we pout. And I'm like, boys, if I can just tell you I'm giving you a cheat sheet just like all you guys cheat on tests, have fun. Enjoy every moment, because you look up, like you said, select ball or youth sports. I mean, it goes so fast. And now they're like, man, they got hair on their arms, looking at you with some eye contact, and and most of them are bigger than you now, so you got to act tough because dad's strength. But really, these kids now, they're strong.
Hey, are you still in Austin?
Yeah, we're about 30 miles north of the city, but yeah, Austin, Texas. Weather's nice this week. It's been cold here and there, but we got 80s. It's crazy. Yeah.
So I think yesterday we were talking about was it expansion for Austin as one of the possibilities?
Austin, one of the cities, yeah. Austin, San Antonio-ish, yeah, but Austin more often.
How do you think that would fit there, Kevin? Like Austin as a possible Major League Baseball city down the road. Could it handle it? Would it work?
Yeah, I believe there's no doubt it would work. The problem is, you still got to figure out cable-wise, television-wise, because you got 2 hours up the road to Houston, you got 2.5 hours up the road to Dallas. Where do you go that way? And so I think the city's growing. Obviously, Elon Musk comes over here with Tesla, and you got Samsung. So the growth has been unbelievable. Now, can the infrastructure, catch up with it? It's kind of like Nashville, same type situation, but super awesome city, super awesome, place to be. And, definitely Major League Baseball. What a cool thing to talk about.
What's the one seat of barbecue in Austin?
I'm going to be honest with you, dude. Like, barbecue is awesome to me. Rudy's is a gas station type barbecue.
Yeah.
I'm more simple. Remember, I'm like the wind blowing, but
oh my God.
There's Salt Lick. There's all kinds of stuff. But I'm telling you, a nice Rudy's barbecue is my favorite. That's kind of because it's close here to the home.
So being a guy from Beaumont and now living around Austin, how often do you get from the locals, though? Do they catch you with a cowboy up still?
Well, I think they know like I'm the fake cowboy because at the end of the day, I'm learning all this as you get 50. I grew up in Los Angeles for 20 years, right? Went to school at Lamar and Beaumont. So I've been in Texas 32. So I always joke around, I'm a fake cowboy. I didn't grow up the fishing and the hunting, but I did that starting in college. So now I'm trying to teach my kids that stuff. We have a little ranch, 150 acres, but we go up there just to cut wood, feed the feeders, and it's the where you get peace, these days. Because as you know, the world gets so crazy. I'm like, shut the phones down. I'm a phone Nazi with the kids. I want you to enjoy life. Put the phones up, get off Snapchat and Cat and, TikTok, all the stuff that everybody watches. I'm like, make your own memories. Quit watching everybody else's memories.
Kevin Millar joining us here on 105 through the Fan. All right, wanted to ask you about the Rangers a little bit. You had a very unique situation you with the Red Sox in 04, breaking the curse. How different was the next year, chasing a ring versus like now defending the ring? Like, how different is that season for the players?
Yeah, it's pretty amazing because there's no expectations, right? The year that you win it, you're trying to win it. You're just one of the teams out there. So if you can't look around and, hey, let's put this together. You need a couple big years from certain guys and your superstars need, to step up. But when you're trying to repeat, first of all, winning a championship is hard. What the Chiefs did is hard. What the Giants did back in 2012 and 14, it's hard. And then to come back and try to go back to back, you have to have everything work out and be perfect. So I think it's tough. I think everybody knows the Rangers are good. Going into last year, I think everybody was hoping the Rangers were good. If you're a Rangers fan, not really sure what was going to happen. But I'll tell you right now, tip your hat to that team. Tip your hat to the Arizona Diamondbacks, two teams probably nobody had on that stage. But you looked around. I'm going to tell you one thing. They were ball players. And what I mean by that, not a whole lot of antics. Their young kids were playing baseball, Corbin Carroll, Evan Carter. You look around, their veterans, they're real. And I appreciate that because this day and age, it seems like all the shirts are all the way unbuttoned down to their belly buttons, and we got so many antics, the game gets lost. But I really appreciated watching Torey Lovullo and Bochy's teams play this game the right way.
Kevin, are the Rangers contenders to start off this new season, or too many injury and age questions?
Yeah, I would tell you they're contenders, but yeah, you nailed it. There are injury and age questions. You have the Los Angeles Dodgers that just went out and spent over $1 billion. You have the Atlanta Braves, who I think are going to be awesome for a while. They've done such a great job over there, with Alex Anthopoulos, and that general manager put together a lot of great players for long term. So there's going to be a lot of competition out there. But I'll tell you right now, never count Bochy and these boys out, as you saw.
Kevin Millar joining us on the D&M Leasing Hotline right here on 105.3 The Fan. And, of course, he's going to be part, again, of the Invited Celebrity Classic that's taking place, brought to you by Choctaw.
Yeah, Kevin, when we talk about those challenges of, injuries and some of the other things, age, those questions that exist, how much of when you see a team like Texas, we were debating this ourselves at the end of last year, guys playing above their heads versus guys coming into their own. So when you enter this season, how much do you feel like you can comfortably rely on guys like Josh Young to repeat their success, Evan Carter to build on his success?
Well, they always talk about the sophomore slump, right? You always talk about, hey, this game's about adjustments. So when you're young guy, they'll challenge you, they're going after you, whatever it is. But right now, I think everybody has books on everybody. We have so much information, sometimes it's overwhelming. It's the way you look at the player. And when Bruce Bochy put Carter in the middle of the lineup, and as a 21-year-old kid, everybody's like, oh, my God. No, that's what I love about Boch. There's no book in all of this. You can look in a young man's eyes and go, yeah, he's ready. And he can be 28 or he can be 19. I mean, Bryce Harper is the biggest at 18 years old. I mean, it felt like he's mature. He's ready. I look at this Evan Carter kid, the presence that he brings. He was almost like a COVID kid where no one really knew about him. And then you look up and you're like, wow, is he a good player? And I think that's what's great about big stages. It's where Derek Jeter made a name for many years. Like, he was tremendous after you kept watching him and watching him and watching him. Hey, Carter, man, this kid's got a great presence. There's a humbleness about him. I think you gravitate to that these days because of the arrogance everywhere else. Everybody's trying to make a brand. This is a player. So I think these kind of guys, you know, Young in Texas Tech, he's been hitting home runs for a while. These kind of guys that they have as far as their young guys, I think are studs.
What is your take on, I know you're, as a former player, you probably look at this a little bit differently than we might. We're kind of annoyed by how slow the process is for free agency with so many guys still unsigned. Do you see this as a problem for the sport, or are we making too much of this that these guys are in shape all year round, they don't need to be in camp today?
This is my point, in my opinion. The agent works for the player. Let's not forget that. The agent works for the player. The player doesn't work for the agent. And if you say that out loud, like sometimes you sit back and, oh, my God, you know, Boris is trying to control this. Hey. But at some point, if I'm whoever, I'm picking the phone up and I want to play baseball, I'm going to play baseball. I make the decisions. And I think that's where we sometimes get bad information from whoever around us. Not saying any of these guys are. I'm just telling you, let's not forget the player works for the agent. I mean, the agent works for the player. And so at some point, you want to play baseball. I know I would have played the game. Didn't matter where, when, and what, any football game. But that's the money and the fame come with the game. But the game of baseball is awesome. So the business of the game sometimes gets in the way, and we sit back and we're going to think that an agent's going to control the market or whatever we do because we have all the great players. You tell me. Does everybody feel good right now? Does Cody Bellinger feel good? He's in no uniform, or Blake Snell. Like, at some point, money, or the game of baseball. So I don't know, man. It goes by quick. They'll be old like me at some point. You're going to look back. But I just think that I would love to see everybody in camp at the right time, and the business side of it gets in the way. And I know that's part of this game and the world we live in. But, boy, is it fun spring training. And when you get out there and see that morning dew on the outfield grass and your teammates, man, there's a lot more things that are more important than worrying about fighting over a few $1 million here and there.
How much time does a hitter need, like, you know, or a pitch versus a pitcher, you know, to be ready by opening day?
Yeah, great question. I was always saying like 35 at bats, and you're pretty much ready. You know, I think a lot of us at spring training, we're looking back at the last couple of weeks, going, let's go. Let's start this season. And so I would assume about 30 to 35, 40 at bats if you're a position player. And that's usually, you know, timing-wise, every spring training, and I'm not joking, every spring training I got to, I felt that I was never going to be able to hit again. Pitchers have such the advantage. The ball's flying by you, and you're like, oh, my God, this is the year I can't hit. And so you feel that way, but usually a couple weeks in, you're like, okay, a few 6-3s, maybe you get a 2-0 count, you homer, and you feel good, you're back.
Kevin Millar here on the Fan, and we're talking about these free agents. We're obviously focused a little bit more on Jordan Montgomery, given how clutch he was for us in bringing over the championship. Who is like that heavyweight signing or X factor at the top of your list? Like, you already mentioned Snell, but who is that guy where you're like, okay, if this club decides to go ahead and spend a little bit, or if this guy ends up here, it could be a problem for everyone else?
I mean, the free agent that I think makes all of our heads scratch, because you quite don't know, is Cody Bellinger, right? The athleticism, he's probably the best defensive player at any position you put him out. He plays center, left, right, first base. Really intriguing, wiry, athletic. The flip side is that, you know, not discount Cody, but like you've had 160s and 180s, and you've had MVPs. I think this kid's a great player. I think he helps the ball club. I think the left-handed bat plays. I think who the Cubs saw is more of who he is, right? Injuries in this game stink. The left shoulder stunk for him. But this kid is a good player, man. And so any team he goes to, he helps that club. Now, which team is that, you know, going to be? I'm not sure. Do the Cubs sit back and wait? I mean, who knows? But I think anywhere you put him, because of the position plays and just the versatility of the athleticism, is pretty special that he brings.
Kevin, you mentioned just a little bit ago about how impressed you were with what Bruce Bochy did and Torey Lovullo during those World Series runs. And we have this discussion here on the show sometimes about, like, how much impact does a baseball manager make? How much can they truly impact the game? What kind of an impact do you think Bochy has on the Rangers? Is it in culture or is it in-game stuff? How does he impact the team?
The thing about veteran managers or like you say, winning managers or players managers, however they want to say it, but it's the humbleness to being able to look at a player when he's 2 for 20 and not front run you in this game. That is hard. The game of baseball is hard. Hitting a baseball is hard. Just the longevity of it, the grind, the mental toughness. So I think Bochy brings such a calmness. And when you have the Dusty Bakers and the Bruce Bochys, there's no secret why they're great, but, like, they're normal. There's no stress. They're not fighting to get to the next contract. They're not fighting to worry about, I always go by saying, to dare is to do and to fear is to fail. They're not afraid to fail. They're not afraid to put a Carter in the 3-hole. They don't have to answer to every single analytic situation in the world. It's crazy sometimes because it's like this game's managed by gut. It doesn't have to be lefty, righty, right, lefty, lefty, right, right, lefty, lefty, right, right, out. It's just that. Can't face the same line 3 times around. Can't do this. Why? Why can't we? When did this start? What's a 100 pitch count? Does that mean if you throw 101, your arm's going to fall off? Some nights you throw 120, you feel great. Some days you throw 58. So I think Boch brings that calmness and that presence to where, like, I think players know that it's not controlled by upstairs. You hear that a lot. Oh, yeah, they hand the lineup to the guys. What? What does that mean? Who's handing what lineup? If I'm the field manager, brother, I'm making decisions. If you don't want me, then that's fine. But this game's managed by gut. Sometimes I look down that road and I know this kid's lined out 8 times, righty on righty. Go give me a tough at bat, brother. I think that's what he brings. That calmness, that, I've been there, done that. And by the way, don't sleep on the ring that he has. So he's almost Tom Brady of managing.
Kevin, when it comes to DeGrom and Scherzer, I'm kind of like, okay, whatever I get now moving forward is going to be icing. With the age, with the injury, do you think that's the right way to look at it, or you think I should feel more confident, Ranger fans should feel more confident in these 2 Hall of Famers moving forward?
I think a lot of times, man, because Max Scherzer's been so good for so long, right? Like, just an absolute warrior on the mound. And, yeah, you get to an age where, like, injuries are part of the situation. And I think Max knows that. I think everybody should know that. But what you get is some presence, and you just hope he's on. He hope he makes as many starts as he can. Or, DeGrom I was talking to, it's sad, man. Like, he was bummed out, and it's hard, and it's like, but, yeah, if you get him on the mound, if you can get 16 starts. I mean, Clayton Kershaw's dealt with it in L.A. I don't think he's pitched a whole lot for the last 5 years, but the times you get him, you're thankful if you're a Dodger fan. And I think that's the presence they bring. And that's why, you keep bringing those guys and putting them on your team. And that's my, the way I look at it. But am I going to put all my eggs in my basket for those guys? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. We get to an age and we get to a time where, like, yeah, we need them to be a pitching coach, be the stud they are on the mound, be everything involved. And that's why they're in my organization at this point. But I wouldn't expect 30 starts and a 2.2 ERA and DeGrom to go win the National or the American League, ERA thing. So I think those are expectations that aren't realistic.
Kevin, one more thing before we hit the golf. Kevin Millar here on the home of the Rangers. The Rendon story. Does that piss you off, or you get it? Like, you play with a ton of guys who didn't absolutely love the game. They still put in the work. They still cared, but they had other priorities. The Anthony Rendon story to you, how does it hit you?
I think that when you sign Anthony Rendon, you have to do due diligence and know who you're signing. A great player, right? Good at baseball. Does he have to love it like I had to love it because I was an undrafted St. Paul Saints, started with $1, and baseball is my life? We're all different. That's what makes this world go round and round. Is Anthony Rendon me? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I love this game. I want everything about this game. I have 4 kids. Family's important. God's important to me also. But I know one thing. I eat, sleep, and drink baseball. So he and I are different on that side, and that's cool. That's what makes a locker room. But that ain't me. I'm going to tell you that right now. And, I like dudes that love it and eat it. And hey, he'll look back at some point and be like, yeah, I made all the money. That's a job. That's cool too. But this game is phenomenal. And it's giving you everything in that life. And I played with a lot of players, the same thing. They're good at baseball. They don't love baseball.
Mm-hmm.
And it would bother me. That would bother me as a teammate when they would say that, because I'm like, what? I just played in Mexico, Dominican, Puerto Rico, got off bus trips, played AA 2 years back to back, making $1,000 a month. It ain't for the money. It's because I love this game, you know. But I think two things change players, and that's the only thing. Two, money and fame.
Mm-hmm.
Take away all the money and fame. It's just like politics, whatever you want to talk about. Take money out of the equation. Now, who are you as a person, right? And I think that's what happens. Money equals power, and then we got to cater to the money. Like, what? We're trying to win a World Series, big dogs.
Kevin, let's talk about this awesome golf tournament. April 15th through the 21st, Las Colinas Country Club. Ground tickets are free. You're going to have Romo and Pudge and Pujols and Colin Montgomery and VJ Singh. Do you remember where you finished last year in the tournament?
I wore number 15.
There you go. Well done.
And
look at that.
Hey, every year I go in these tournaments, man. I started out as a 20 handicap when I stopped playing in 2010. And, you know, in golf, I kind of really got into it and loved it. Never played golf when I played, but I tell you right now, these tournaments are like our Augusta. When you go out and golf with the boys and everything's good, oh, that's good. Oh, that's good. And then you get over one of these tournaments, a 3-footer to save bogey, it's a whole different ballgame. It puts golf into perspective and respecting a 2.5-footer left to right. Go make that under the gun when you're trying to save something. So I love golf. I love this tournament. I think they do such a great job. You know, VJ Singh, played with him one time up in Kahanaiki, Hawaii, ironically, and what a cool dude. Like, there's a calmness and a coolness to these seniors. And you learn, like, we try to power the golf ball. This is not a game like that. So I think the just watching the senior tour players, how easy they swing, and they're remarkable in wind, and they're remarkable in sun. It is a blast.
Those starting pitchers get a lot of time in the regular season to play golf, don't they?
Yeah, that's why. I don't know why I never really liked starting pitchers, because I'd have to go out there and go 0 for 4 5 straight days. They got their golf club. They don't even start in these 3-game series. They got clubs going to the greatest golf course in the world. I'm like, dang, dude. 30 times a year you guys played. 30 times a year. Think about that. And went and played 87 courses. Yep, I'm hating.
Hey, man, we'll see you out there. Thank you so much. Absolute radio gold as always. Continue killing it, and we'll see you soon out there in Las Colinas, Kevin. Thank you.
Boys, I appreciate you guys.